Thank you for attending the presentation. My name is Mohammed Dafi. I'm currently a PhD student in TED University. Today we are going to talk about behavioral models with alternative alphabets. Let's start from the beginning and talk about development process. As we know, development process try to produce the uh, software application and at the same time try to control the cost and the time that is used for the development process and try to maximize the user satisfaction. The software development process consists of a set of phases. The first phase is requirement definition. The second one is the system design, and then the implementation of the application and unit testing. After that, the integration of the unit that was implemented and system testing, and then the operation and the maintenance. The first phase is the requirement engineering. This phase try to analyze the services that is needed by the system and try to expose the operational constraints that limit the behavior of the application. Usually, requirement engineering document its result using the requirement document, which produce a lot of details that is confusing and hard to understand. Uh, another way to express uh, another way to express the requirement using scenarios. Scenarios is a written description used to organize the information and usually generated by the requirement analysis. Uh, it is an effective way to express user requirement. To express the user requirement using scenarios, we describe it as a sequence of events that describe the behavior of the system, usually represented as sequence diagrams. This is a textual representation of the scenario, and this is sequence diagram. Now, properties is a constraint or condition that limit the behavior of the system and ensure that the system will not exhibit incorrect or disallowed behavior. Usually, we represent properties using object constraints languages or fluent linear temporal logic. The second one is we are going to use it. This is an example of the properties. Now, behavioral models, as we know, behavioral models is a graphical representation that describe the behavior of system. It consists of a set of states and set of transition. The state represent all possible situations that the system can go through. The transition determine how the system moves from one state to another. Uh, expressing or creating the behavior model make it easier to understand and validate the system. This is an example of the behavioral model of the system. Partial behavior model. Usually in behavioral model we model two types of transition: allowed transition and disallowed transition. There's another type of transition which is maybe transition, used in which is used to model the uncertain status of transition marked by question mark. Behavioral model with maybe maybe may contains maybe transition is called a partial behavioral model. This is an example of partial behavioral model. Synthesis algorithm. Synthesis algorithm converts set of scenarios to a behavioral model and it validates the requirement specification. Motivation. The motivation of this work is was motivated by the wide use of scenarios and properties to describe user requirements and the need of synthesized algorithm behavior model to validate the user requirements. Also, the need of the ability of modifying behavior model without reconstructing them. Alternative alphabets. Thank you for listening for the first part.